This is SPY on the 5-minute time frame. Here are your price targets for Tuesday. We ended the day at $569.61, up 0.24%. To the north side takes us back to the middle of the trend and the baseline, and resistance at 570.41, also a potential take profit area. Above that at 2 standard deviations, 575.67, 578.24, and roughly 580.70. To the south side, 565.24, 562.72, and $560.03. There's a gap that closed out. That is the reason why I wanted to go over this ticker. And we have a gap. Oops, I need to change that to green. So we gapped down, so I anticipate it to fill on the way up. And this gap is still in play. So that will take us to 570.53. There we go. And then we had a gap here. We gapped up, so I anticipate it to fill on the way down, but we are in an upward channel, as you can see right here, and moving farther away from this closure, and that would take us down to 562.19 roughly. And I turned on the bot today, the buy and sell bot. I don't use it to trade because I don't take that many trades. This is my clear sell signal, and as you can see, the bot even told you to do that. This is resistance, or at least one level of resistance. This is your buy-in area down here, and then if we are down here, this turns into resistance, and that triggers the sell bot. And I have a few more gaps to clean up. So we have this gap that touched to the upside, and then you can see there's a little gap here, but I don't keep track of everything, just the big ones typically. But if I'm marking something out and I notice it, then I will mark out the little ones too. Like we have this little one here, but the standard deviations will wipe it out if we make it to that level. But that one will take us down to roughly 559.02. So this one's done. I could delete that. And that gap started back on July 17th. Let me go to the daily so you can see this just a little bit better. So we have gaps here to the south side, but again, we are moving farther away from them because we are in an upward channel. And this needs to be cleaned up, but because I marked these out on a different time frame, I've got to clean it up on the same time frame. Otherwise, it's going to look wonky. But all I'm going to do on the daily is give you some price targets in the big picture. We are in post trading right now. Let me just make sure, yeah, get the lines right. So 569.67 is where we ended, right here actually. So to the north side takes us to 595.44, and back to the middle of the trend would take us to roughly 565.87-ish, and then -2 standard deviations is 536.55. Note the sell-off here at resistance, the buy-in down here for a rip at support, and the middle of the trend turns back into resistance. Yeah, I've got to go through and clean these up, but while I'm here, I'm just going to extend that and extend that. Now the next one I want to go over, let me switch back to the 5, option R to reset. I want to go over Tesla. It ran off of some great news, and that news and the rip came on this release here. Tudor Pickering Holt raised the company's delivery estimates for Q3 and that stock sent the ticker running. But I was already tracking a gap, so I already knew intuitively, because of the way I do my charts, that that gap would fill whenever we correct to the upside. So on Sunday, when I did my gap and go trades, which Tesla is a part of, I mentioned this is the gap to the upside that will fill. And out of the gate on Monday, we filled right there. So that is no longer in play. And now we're just grinding along the middle of the trend. The baseline, when I looked at this on Sunday, was right here. So now we've eked our way up a little bit. But note, this was a previous middle of the trend, middle of the trend, middle of the trend, and this past Sunday, middle of the trend also. You can see that we are making higher highs on Tesla. And it coincided, obviously, it made it run because of the great news. But whatever that news may be, that was the potential to fill it, and we did. Let me just delete that one, but I'll fix this one when I do the chart again on Sunday. But that gap had been in play since July 24th. And what else do I have here? Oh, so that was to the bottom. So it started at 225 and closed out at 246. So congrats. And what's going on with, oh, that one closed out already. And this bottom one will take us to 201.61, 216.62, not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. Just something to be aware of, but we are moving farther away from these targets on the 5. And for the daily time frame, let's check that out. Yes, I know my chart looks like a hot mess, but I know exactly what every single marking means, because I do the same things over and over again, so it's easy to figure out what it is. So we ended the day at 250. Oh, excuse me. The post market now is 249, but we ended at 250. So on the daily, your target is here to 273.71, back to the middle of the trend, 244.77, and then to the south side. That's hard to see. And right here, that will take us to 187.16, which will wipe out all of these gaps to the south side. And then there are other ones to be aware of. And there is a gap to the north side in the big picture at 291.36. That will just close out this gap that I've been tracking since, oh, this is hard to see, huh? So right here, it looks like I marked that out since July 19th of 2023. My goodness. Yeah, and then I started, this right here is for gap and go trades that I've been covering. But once we get to 291.06, I will no longer track this for my gap and go trades. On Sunday nights, I will pick another ticker. Watch out, the RSI is starting to creep up. So the 5-minute time frame, let's go back. And one last one for you, Msos, only because it ran today as well, up 4.93%. So it looks like the last time I sold out for a 12% return right here on August 20, I bought on August 24th and I sold out on September 9th for 706 for a 12.24% return. Okay, so for your targets, we are at resistance. So you know what happens at resistance. Yes, we could go down to go back up for another leg to the north side. 714 and 724 to the south side. Let's see, that is not, no, this is hard to see. Here's the line. And then, where's my red? Here's the middle of the trend right here. So that will take us down to 667. And after that, this white line right there, 657 and 648 to retrace. And then we could just end up back in this area again, repeating this chart to the south side. And we have this gap that will take us down to 642. It's probably better if I show this to you. Let's take a look at this on the hour so you can see. Ignore all the pink lines. Those are my previous buy lines. I'm still in some, but I've sold out some as well. See, this is easier to look at on a bigger time frame. So on the hourly, to the north side takes us to 731, and to the south side, 662. All right, I'm going to stop there. Let's flip this back to the 5-minute, option R. So that is a look at SPY, Tesla, and MSOS. Have a great trading day.